During the interview, the reporter asked me, Mr. Shin's new drama has many intimate scenes with the female lead. What do you think about that? I smiled my usual smile. That's very sweet. The reporter froze and then asked, Then do you think it will affect your relationship with the female lead? The reporter froze and then asked, Do you think this will affect your relationship with Mr. Shin? After all, he's never done emotional scenes before. No. Why? Because we're divorced. The interview exploded. And my phone's ringing off the hook. Liam Sullivan's voice came through with suppressed anger. When did we get divorced? How come I didn't know? I knocked on the hotel door with the divorce papers. Now. Liam Sullivan Aria Yates marriage. Liam Sullivan Lila Collins. Lila Collins. The interview is blowing up, dominating the top 3 hot searches. And my phone was about to blow up. I put my cell phone on Do Not Disturb and lay back in the nanny van to rest. A highlights video of Liam Sullivan and Lila Collins kissing until they were steamy was still playing on a flat screen beside me. My agent Olivia Zhou was stunned. You're divorced. When did that happen? I was succinct. He cheated on me. Olivia Zhou instantly understood what I meant. She turned the tablet off and the car was so quiet you could only hear my rapid breathing. She sighed, wanting to comfort me but not knowing how to say it. You and Liam Sullivan have been together for 7 years. Everyone knows how much you guys love each other. You're a notorious showbiz couple. Is there some kind of misunderstanding? I didn't say anything and lowered the window, letting the cold wind pour in to dry the tears that were about to overflow. Just last night, I received the news that Liam Sullivan and Lila Collins' private rendezvous. I was upset for a long time and cried until I was convulsing. Then had divorce papers drawn up overnight. It was the 7 years together that made the betrayal all the more unforgivable. Rushed to the hotel. I got Liam Sullivan on the phone. A panicked and repressed angry voice came from the other end of the line. Aria Yates. What are you up to? When did we get divorced and why don't I know? He only calls me by my full name when he's very angry. The last time. It was because I threw red wine in Lila Collins' face. Now. I knocked on his room door. The door was opened and I was eye-to-eye with Liam Sullivan, who was holding a cell phone. He was topless, with only a towel around him, revealing chunky abs, smooth mermaid lines, and not-so-subtle love marks on his arms. What brings you here? I ignored him and sidled into the room, dumping the divorce papers on the table. Sign it. Liam Sullivan picks it up and casually flips through it and throws it back on the couch, seemingly laughing in exasperation as he scratches a few handfuls of hair. Just because I had an intimate scene with Lila Collins, isn't that normal? Eucalyptus. I'm very tired. Can you stop being so unreasonable? Liam Sullivan. I lowered my eyes and took a deep breath. No intimate scenes. That's what we agreed when we got married. Liam Sullivan is extremely possessive of me, but any script that has a kissing scene in it he either turns it down for me or forces the director to change the script. There was once a scene where the male lead gave me a kiss on the cheek just because he felt free to do so under the atmosphere, and he was replaced the next day. And vanished without a trace from then on. Liam Sullivan has always been a paranoid creep. But now he's broken his pact with me for another woman. He gave Lila Collins privileges, which is proof enough of his change of heart. Liam Sullivan looks a little hard, but quickly returns to smiling as he walks over and wraps his arms around my waist, nibbling my earlobe. This time is an exception. I won't take it from now on. Okay. I don't want to hear about it. Okay. As for the divorce, I don't want to hear it again. Huh. I was about to push him away when suddenly a delicate female voice came. Brother Jihan, the water pipe in the bathroom seems to be broken. Yikes. Sister Aria Yates, why are you here? Lila Collins was wearing a sexy halter that could barely cover her ass. and her long, half-wet hair was spread out behind her, revealing a little hickey on her neck. She tugged her halter dress down in a panic as she realized I was looking at her, adding a little more of an air of embarrassment to the situation. Lila Collins' cheeks through the scarlet, a little blushing and biting her lips. Aria Yates' sister. I and brother Jihan is not what you see. Liam Sullivan subconsciously picked up the suit jacket on the sofa, ready to put it on Lila Collins' body. I was quick on my feet and opened my camera to take a few shots at them. Sign it or I'll send the pictures out. Let's see. How about the caption of top string cheating on a popular young flower, caught red-handed in a one-night stand at a hotel? Liam Sullivan scanned impatiently and explained to me, she was drunk at the celebration banquet last night. It's not safe for a girl to be alone. That's why I brought her to the hotel. I didn't do anything with her. I ignored his pale defense and said word for word, the last 3 seconds of time. 3, 2. Liam Sullivan picked up the divorce papers on the couch and signed them in 3 and threw them at me. Okay. Had enough. I nodded, picking up the divorce papers and about to leave. He suddenly made a sound and called me from behind, his tone full of helplessness. Eucalyptus. You weren't like this before. When did you become so unreasonable? My steps to leave were stunned. I remembered that Liam Sullivan had said the same thing when I first met Lila Collins. Lila Collins was a newcomer signed by the company. Looking a little like me, she was nicknamed Aria Yates Jr. by the internet. At first, Liam Sullivan was not happy about this. He hugged me and grunted, "What little Aria Yates? My wife is unique. She is like that. Even my wife's hair can't be compared to a single strand of hair." He always told me he didn't like Lila Collins rubbing off on me. Lila Collins imitates my style of dress. He says pathetic imitation. Attention-seeking. Lila Collins imitates my makeup. He says tacky and tasteless and ridiculous. He didn't even realize that he was mentioning Lila Collins more and more often in front of me. An irrelevant person who appears frequently in my conversations with him. Even at dinner, he would tease with feigned disgust. Lila Collins doesn't like cilantro either. Play dead. But he doesn't eat with Lila Collins, so how would he know she doesn't like cilantro? I got a little angry and threw my chopsticks on the table. It's never going to end, is it? Do you have to mention Lila Collins in everything? Liam Sullivan, you don't have a thing for her, do you? Liam Sullivan was quick to show his loyalty and deleted Lila Collins' tweets right in front of me. Until a few days later, at a business reception, Lila Collins was dragged by an investor to drink too much, and Liam Sullivan gave the investor a head start in front of everyone. Ignoring me, who was standing by with a pale face, he took Lila Collins by the shoulders and said grimly, "Our company's artists will never accompany alcohol." To calm down, I went to the restroom. When I came out again, Liam Sullivan pulled Lila Collins, whose cheeks were red and swollen, in front of me, and his tone was unpleasant. "If you have any anger, you come at me." "What are you hitting her for? What are you hitting her for? Aria Yates, when did you become so unreasonable?" Liam Sullivan didn't come home that night. After a few days of Cold War, he came back with a piece of jewelry from a foreign auction to coax me. "Don't be angry, wife. It's just that when I looked at her that day, I suddenly remembered how you were forced to drink a few years ago. That's why I lost my mind." He couldn't protect the me of 7 years ago, so he wanted to protect the Lila Collins of 7 years later. Liam Sullivan put the necklace on for me and stayed home with me for a long time. I put a smile on his face again and he thought it was over. What he didn't know was that I had found Lila Collins' Twitter account. It documented the 3 days they spent traveling in Malibu. My encounter with Liam Sullivan was quite dramatic. At the time, I was just a small groupie in the north. He was a rich kid with a dream to break into the entertainment industry against his family's wishes. His parents are determined to refine and suppress him, not only stopped all his cards, but also let people give him trips. The first time I met him was on the street in the early morning. I was on my way home from a night shoot and bought a barbecue sausage and squatted by the side of the road to fill my stomach. But suddenly I felt an intense gaze on me. I turned around and met a pair of eyes that were glowing green in the alley. I bought a sausage for Liam Sullivan. The two of us squatted side by side on the curb, and he told me he was also a young man from the north, here to dream of acting. We chatted all night and thought we had a soulful connection. Every night after that, we came here to squat, chatting about today's life as a group actor in the theater. Over time, we developed feelings for each other. We lived together in a narrow rented house, in the room mixed with grease and moldy smell, in the rickety iron bed. Again and again passionate embrace. In those 3 years, we dreamed together, snuggled up to each other to deliver our backs, and helped each other step by step out of our own world. On the night Liam Sullivan won the Best New Artist Award, he finally got his parents' recognition and support, and also told me about his identity as the youngest member of the Shinn family. I felt sorry for his deception and shut him out and refused to see him. In order to apologize to me, he stood in the rainstorm all night. And the next day he fainted with a high fever and was sent to the hospital. The first thing he did when he woke up was struggle out of bed to come to me. My heart was softened. He gave me a magnificent wedding, didn't hesitate to open up to me during his career upswing, and gave me the best of everything. Everyone said I was the Cinderella story. Over time, even Liam Sullivan thought so. He slowly forgot about the 3 years of struggle, confusion and pain we spent in that damp and moldy room of less than 20 square meters. Walking out of the hotel, I turned on my cell phone. The hot search about calling Lila Collins a relationship interloper had been taken down. Liam Sullivan sent out a clarifying tweet. There is no divorce. The wife has lost her temper, and has been coaxing. In addition to the comments section, a clear praise Liam Sullivan is a wife-doting devil. There are a lot of scolding me. Aria Yates' possessiveness is also too horrible, isn't it? Our brother Chill has been guarding his body for her on screen for many years. She is so controlling. Isn't she short of love? Aria Yates really can't hold her own like this. If she has a rich second-generation top stream as her husband, she should be satisfied. She still has to look at her face when she shoots a movie. Some people, even if they fly up to the branch, they are still just sparrows. They can't get into the limelight. Are Yen Yen baby really poor? Helpless grassroots girl. Just because of good acting can in top flow shoot emotional scenes. Was Aria Yates so bully? Really heartbreaking. Pure passerby. Am I the only one who thinks Lila Collins and Liam Sullivan are a better match? Guard upstairs. Really dare to say. Honestly, I think even if Yun Yun on top, that can only be blamed on Aria Yates' own incapability to keep Chill's heart. Waste. According to the past. These black comments have long been deleted by Liam Sullivan. This time, perhaps to teach me a lesson, Liam Sullivan not only ignored them, but also liked some of the comments. Olivia Zhou was on the phone to ask her team to give me PR. I was a bit tired and lay down in the nanny van to take a nap. When I woke up, it was close to midnight. There were dozens of unread messages on my cell phone, and I picked it up and was about to scroll through them when Liam Sullivan's call came in. Eucalyptus, where are you? Why didn't you come home tonight? I didn't say anything. And there was silence on the other end of the line for a few seconds. I could hear Liam Sullivan's heavy breathing. He sighed. Eucalyptus. You don't think we can really get divorced just based on that divorce agreement, do you? It was only meant to be a bit of fun for you, so you behave yourself and go home now. Liam Sullivan was right. Divorcing the youngest member of the Shin family wasn't that easy. This agreement, in his eyes, is no different from a few pieces of blank paper. In his eyes, today's show is just playing with a pet that is showing its teeth and claws because it's jealous. I spoke calmly. Liam Sullivan, you don't really think I have a future with you, do you? The divorce papers didn't work, but they expressed my attitude. There was no way he and I could ever be together again. Even if we end up in a bloodbath, this marriage is final. Liam Sullivan snorted coldly. His tone was lazy and meaningful. Eucalyptus, don't joke with me. You know very well the consequences of making me angry. On the other side of the phone, the sound of Liam Sullivan knocking on the desktop was particularly dull in the silent night. I knew that Liam Sullivan was really angry now. I hooked my lips and let out a light laugh. Well, see. Not giving him time to speak, I hang up the phone. The window reflects my appearance, my hair messy and my face tired. This is the last time I'm bothered by rotten people and feelings. I know how underhanded and disgusting Liam Sullivan's tactics can be when he's angry. But am not afraid, and I will never stoop. It will be me, and only me, who will have the last laugh in this battle. Liam Sullivan's warning came quickly. I was originally scheduled to be the female lead in a big female costume drama, but before the start of the movie, I was replaced by Lila Collins. Lila Collins has been in the limelight lately, and is similar to me, plus Liam Sullivan's pressure. The director didn't say anything. During the first scene, Liam Sullivan also came to the movie. He was the investor. No one in the crew dared to neglect him, and he was given umbrellas, fans, and Starbucks. During the break, Lila Collins familiarly sat next to Liam Sullivan and shared with him her mental journey of shooting the movie. Liam Sullivan only responded perfunctorily, his dark gaze falling on me through the crowd. I ignored it and stood on the porch reading the script, while my little assistant fanned me and asked me, "Sister, isn't Mr. Shin here to see you? Why don't you go sit next to him?" "No way. Do you have to avoid suspicion when you're married?" Liam Sullivan had reserved a seat next to me. The assistant didn't know about me and him, so she thought he was here to visit me. Of course I knew he was giving me a leg up, but if he really wanted to make peace, how could he allow Lila Collins to be so close to him, not to mention the fact that he stole my lead role? Threatening my career is inexcusable. Perhaps seeing the annoyance on my face, Liam Sullivan waved and instructed his assistant, "That sour plum juice that Luo Yan likes to drink, arrange it for the entire crew." One by one, the staff complimented them on their good relationship. Hearing Lila Collins blush in embarrassment, her eyelashes fluttered slightly and she glanced at me with a smile. "Don't say that. Eucalyptus' sister is still there." Everyone then remembered that I was still here, and silenced themselves. The atmosphere of the crew became awkward. The atmosphere on the set became very awkward, and this awkwardness reached its peak when the next scene started. This was the scene where the female lead realized that her female counterpart was the one behind the evil, so she slapped her hard during the confrontation. This is one of the great moments in the plot, so the heroine is required to slap hard. I quickly subbed in and looked at Lila Collins with indignation, sneering, "So what if now you know I did it? Can you take me?" Before I could finish my line, Lila Collins raised her hand and slapped me across the face, causing me to stagger a few steps. My face was red and swollen to the naked eye. Lila Collins' hands and feet wet her eyes. She bit her lower lip. "I'm sorry, Sis Aria Yates. You acted so well. I couldn't hold back." As the director shouted card, the little assistant hurriedly brought ice packs to put on my face. She glared viciously at Lila Collins. "Since you hit it, then go on to finish the show off." I didn't pursue the matter. I just covered my face with powder and signaled the director to continue. After that, Lila Collins either forgot the words, played badly, or changed the script without authorization, and slapped me 6 more times in a row. I topped off my cheeks, and I could feel the slightest hint of rusty fishy flavor in my mouth, mixed with sticky saliva swallowed, souring and swelling in my chest. Lila Collins, on the other hand, just grunted in a mock-aggravated manner. "I'm sorry, Sister Eucalyptus. I know you're a professional in acting. Unlike me, who's only been in the business for a short while and had to be brought in a few more times by you before my emotions could get in." The director smiled sarcastically. In his eyes, Lila Collins and I are now the Gold Master's wife and the Gold Master's rumored girlfriend. In his eyes, Lila Collins and I are now the Gold Master's wife, and the other is the Gold Master's rumored girlfriend. Why don't we shoot the next scene first? The plot of this one may need to be changed. Unexpectedly, Liam Sullivan, who had been silent since the start of the shooting, suddenly coughed a few times. And when he met my gaze, he raised his eyebrows. I knew that he was waiting for me to give in. I misplaced my gaze and looked at the director. "Carry on." The director glanced at Liam Sullivan's gloomy face and spoke tentatively. "So, then, why don't we just lend a hand in the scene and not have to fight for real?" After a few seconds of silence, Liam Sullivan spoke quietly. "No." The director breathed a sigh of relief, and was about to direct the continuation of the shooting when Liam Sullivan added another sentence. "There's no need to borrow a position, Mr. Yi is so dedicated. He shouldn't bother to use some unprofessional means." With one sentence, I was put on a high pedestal. I suddenly remembered the news I heard some time ago that Lila Collins was slapped by an actress during a movie shoot and was so upset that she cried all the time. Then Liam Sullivan barged right into the backstage dressing room with her and backed her up to slap her back. Liam Sullivan said this to me once. At that time, I was caught and slapped by the director because I didn't have enough emotional substitution. That night Liam Sullivan rolled my face with a hot egg in pain while gritting his teeth. "Don't worry, Eucalyptus. It won't take long for me to take you back to slap you." Later on, he not only returned that slap for me, but also made that person disappear from the showbiz world and never be mentioned again. Thinking about the past, my internal organs were inevitably tugged a bit throbbing. I pressed my heart and took a few deep breaths. "It's okay, Aria Yates. You wouldn't have had to rely on him to return that slap. It was just a matter of time. Like right now." As Lila Collins asked for a reshoot after slapping me once again under the pretext of forgetting the words. A cool voice trailed off with the sound of heels hitting the ground from far away. "What nook or cranny found this piece of trash worthy of being my heroine? Card point. The visitor is Victoria Sharp, the boss behind the show. If there's such a thing as Hollywood royalty, she'd be the royal daughter of the capital circle." In her first year back from studying abroad, she made a name for herself with 2 starring dramas. The name of Victoria Sharp's Demonis resounded through the circle, and very few people dared to get their hands under her nose. Today is the day she returns home from dealing with her work abroad. I guessed she would come to the scene. Obviously, I had bet correctly. I breathed a sigh of relief, greeted in respect, and took another angle to reveal my half-swollen face. Victoria Sharp was clearly pissed off as she slammed the stack of information she was holding down on the table and chided. "Who gave you permission to let people backdoor inside my theater?" The scene was silent, but eyes hit Liam Sullivan's body in unison. Lila Collins, red-faced from the scolding, shed a few tears and cowered behind Liam Sullivan. Liam Sullivan stood up, straightened his clothes, and held out his hand towards Victoria Sharp. "Sister Tokuai, long time no see." Victoria Sharp narrowed her eyes and let out a cold smile. "Young Master Shin, am I familiar with you? Both are also people in the upper-class circle. I never thought Victoria Sharp would be so unfriendly." And he, Liam Sullivan, couldn't afford to be offended. Liam Sullivan's smile froze on his face as he tried to remind. Miss Xiang, I am the investor of this drama. Oh. Victoria Sharp picked up the information and casually flipped through it twice, then threw it in Lila Collins' face and scattered it. Wow. Young Master Shin invested $50 million, eh? So what? You think you're so cool? I'm not sure if you're a big fan of this. With this little bit of information, you want to stuff your rumored subject into my drama group. What do you think? Anne. Victoria Sharp looked Lila Collins up and down with undisguised disgust in her eyes. And a substandard one at that. Liam Sullivan. I'm not interested in your flings, but there's one thing. I don't keep losers in my crew. So, please, withdraw from the show. So, I'd like you to divest yourself of your money and take your mistress and get the hell out of here. Lila Collins was replaced. Not only was she scolded, she was also ordered not to receive any more scripts from Miss Xiang. When Lila Collins went back to the dressing room to pack up her things, she was crying and her makeup was smudged. Her eyeliner smudged like a black eye and she looked like a mess. I was rubbing medicine on her face. It was something that Miss Xiang had specifically instructed her assistant to bring me. Aria Yates. You're so smug right now, aren't you? Lila Collins clenched her back teeth. You think you're a big shot just because you're on Victoria Sharp's good side. You've still been slapped around so much. And let me tell you, even though I can't be the heroine, it's worth it because I've slapped you in the face. Lila Collins. There's no one in the dressing room. I sighed and put the ointment down. She frowned suspiciously and sneered. So, I got up and unlocked the powder room door. Coincidentally, there's no surveillance either. The next second, before she could react, I grabbed her hair with one hand and swung my other hand round to slap her across the face. I left no stone unturned, and my palm was alive with wind, leaving one red, swollen five-finger print after another on her face. I was half a head taller than Lila Collins, and she was no match for me in single combat. Soon, she was slapped into a pig's head by me, and there was a nosebleed coming out. When I stopped, my hand was numb with pain. 10 slaps, and I'll pay you back. Lila Collins covered her face and cried as she questioned me out of tune. Aria Yates, you're shameless, you're a scoundrel. I only slapped you 8 times. I was a little tired and took a sip of water. Did you forget about the slap you falsely accused me of at the reception earlier? Lila Collins rolled her eyes in defiance. That was only 9. Buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one free. What a deal. I raised my hand in a gesture of defiance. Why don't you get lost? Lila Collins couldn't beat me and didn't dare to mess with me anymore. She glared at me and covered her face, then opened the door to go out, but she didn't expect to bump into Liam Sullivan. When she saw him, Lila Collins felt like she had found her backing. She jumped on me and bawled her eyes out, pointing at me and complaining, Brother Jihan, Aria Yates is jealous of you for protecting me. So she hit me. Liam Sullivan frowned, lifted Lila Collins up and pushed her out of the room, then striding in and closing the door. Seeing me, his gaze softened. Eucalyptus. Does it hurt? Liam Sullivan raises the back of his hand to stroke my face, which I avoid. His hand stalled in midair and he wasn't embarrassed, just some complex emotions tumbling under his eyes as he sighed. Eucalyptus. You've really learned to be bad. You've actually started to learn how to count on me. I hooked up the corner of my lips. Same as each other. Why have you become so stubborn? Is it hard to bow your head a little? You know very well that at that time, if you just looked at me, even for a single glance, I would have told Lila Collins to pack up and get out immediately. What a joy. I raised an eyebrow and asked him back. What's the impact? If I don't look at you, doesn't she pack up and leave just the same? Liam Sullivan stalls. He looks up and sweeps me from head to toe with his eyes. After a long time, his voice was a little husky. Eucalyptus. You've changed. You didn't used to be like this. In the past, Aria Yates never quarreled with Liam Sullivan, and when she was wronged, she would jump into his arms and ask him to help her take revenge. But now Aria Yates is like a leopard with sharp claws. And she doesn't know when she will scratch his face to a bloody pulp. Liam Sullivan, it's you who's changed. I sighed weakly, looking out the window a little out of breath. You said I was stubborn. How could the former Liam Sullivan allow anyone the chance to hurt me? Liam Sullivan clenched his hand. His indifferent pupils suddenly shook. Eucalyptus. It's not what you think. He was a little helpless. What on earth do I have to do for you to believe that there is innocence between me and Lila Collins? I raised my eyebrows, my tone slightly playful. How about you transfer all the shares in your name to me, and give me lots and lots of money, and I'll believe you and not get a divorce. Liam Sullivan's face suddenly changed. Aria Yates, you're with me for the money, aren't you? Did you ever really love me? Sure enough, he was still as disgusting as I thought he was. Not wanting to get into it with him, I opened the door to the dressing room. Liam Sullivan, if you've got any more tricks up your sleeve, I'm here for you. I'll go through with it. No matter what. I'm getting a divorce. Liam Sullivan and I parted on bad terms. Olivia Jo had just heard about the incident on set and was furious. I've never seen such a bully. It's a bitch of 4 sets -3. She clicked on the video she received and showed it to me. I had someone hide in the corner before the shooting started, and I recorded Lila Collins' face very clearly. Do you want to send this video now? I'll contact someone right away to pave the square. No. I raised my hand to stop it. Now is not the time. I want to make the most out of this video. I was on the set concentrating on the movie. On the other hand, Liam Sullivan, as if he was pissed off with me, took Lila Collins to the party. Without Lila Collins as the lead actress, he gave her other more top-quality resources and endorsements. He even took her to Turkey for a hot air balloon ride in order to coax her. See Liam Sullivan again. It was after the footage of my kissing scene with the male lead made it to the hot search engines. It was my first kiss on screen. Twitter exploded. I was on the scene, I say. This paragraph reshoots several times. The 2 teachers kissed so many times. I really screamed. Leopard, leopard, cat, 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 I was born. Eucalyptus Sisters kissing scene is a masterpiece. I love to watch it. Don't you think they're not in love with each other? Their ears are almost ripe. Am I the only one who thinks Aria Yates is cheap and double standard? Before also do not allow Cole Brother and our Yen Yen shoot intimate scenes. Turn the head of their own kiss up here. Really quite difficult to comment on. Some people don't love men too much, I said. Liam Sullivan side kissed all steamy, still be said to match a face. To our Eucalyptus sister here, hard to comment. Then you don't comment. That night, I just finished The Mask. The doorbell rang. It was Liam Sullivan. He was carrying his suit in one hand and his shirt was a bit messy. I smiled and opened the door. What's up, Mr. Shen? Promised to divorce me. Liam Sullivan gritted his teeth, the corners of his mouth twisting slightly as he casually threw the suit to the floor and took a few steps forward to clasp the back of my head. Fine kisses fell. He kissed with urgency. Reacting, I jerked to push him away, only to have him bite my lip as if in punishment. After 7 years together, he knew my sensitive spots too well. A single movement can make my body can't help but go soft. Warm breath mingled with wine breath erupted in my ear. Aria Yates. Is he a good kisser? Or am I? I slapped him hard. Disgusted, I wiped my lips with a piece of paper. Are you going to die, Liam Sullivan? If you have a disease, go get it cured. Don't get drunk on me. Liam Sullivan topped his cheeks, backhanded the corner of his mouth and brought the other side of his face up again. Again. What a bitch. I raised my hand and slapped it twice more, numbing my entire hand. Liam Sullivan grabbed a handful of hair and leaned back on the couch, yanking me over. Are you mad now? Eucalyptus. Stop it. His chin rested against my shoulder and he murmured, they'll let you off the hook for all the things you used to do to get close to me on purpose. Okay. Well, live our lives just like before. Over the years, a number of people have told Liam Sullivan that those 3 years of suffering with him in the beginning were all designed by me. I found out who he was long ago. That's why I was willing to stay with him. That all I loved was his money and power. At first, Liam Sullivan would retort for me. As time went by, he believed it himself and began to question me frequently. Why was it such a coincidence that you just happened to see me squatting on the side of the road in the first place? Why did you agree as soon as I confessed? What exactly do you like about me? If I wasn't the youngest member of the Shin family, would you still follow me? The daily intense content of filming exhausted me. After being questioned by him for so many times, I started to get a bit upset and didn't want to deal with it anymore. Later, Liam Sullivan stopped asking questions, but this matter became a knot in his heart, which got tighter and tighter until it could not be untied anymore. I buried my head at an angle that allowed me to see Liam Sullivan's soft hair, a small tuft of which stood up at the top of his head. I used to love to poke at his dorky hair, thinking it was uniquely mine. The cute side of Liam Sullivan. But now this angle. You can also make out the love marks on the back of his neck. There's even the scent of perfume lingering on the tip of his nose, if anything. The one Lila Collins loves to wear. I take a step back, to discuss a matter. Liam Sullivan raised his eyes and looked at me with a bit of hope in his gaze. You go to hell, okay. I won't get divorced if you die. I'll be your widow for the rest of my life, okay. Aria Yates. Liam Sullivan's eyes were filled with a mountain of anger, and he let out a low whistle, his long knuckles tapping on the sofa intentionally or unintentionally. Do you have to talk to me like that? Then how am I going to talk to you? I ran a handful of hair through my face in annoyance and slammed the pillow in his face. You just got out of Lila Collins' fucking bed and you haven't even wiped the lipstick stains off your fucking neck yet. Where do you get the face to talk to me like that? Will you just go fuck yourself? Liam Sullivan blushed and wiped at his neck carelessly. Let me explain. Roll with it. Will you go and die and then explain it to me in your last words? I yanked up Liam Sullivan's tie and yanked him towards the door. Liam Sullivan stumbles a few steps, holding onto the door frame. And the light from the foyer shines on his face, splitting it into one light and one dark. He pulled out his cell phone and dialed the Golden Globe Awards jury. Aria Yates Award for Lila Collins. For this award, I didn't use a body double in the winter months. I went under ice water a dozen times, and my menstrual cramps were so severe that I was sent to the hospital. And then Olivia Jo told me I was guaranteed the award. Now Liam Sullivan's words have undone nearly 7 years of hard work. My hands couldn't help but tremble, my eyes filled with tears. And I looked at him helplessly and brokenly. Liam Sullivan seemed to be satisfied with this reaction of mine. He raised his chin and knocked twice on the door panel. Eucalyptus. I'm going to have to make you remember who you owe it to get where you are. I waved my hand and slammed the ceramic doll on the shoe cabinet to the floor. The doll smashes against Liam Sullivan's feet and falls apart. Liam Sullivan and I used to sneak out into the crowded plaza to paint them. Even fully armed, we were eventually recognized. I had this doll in my arms, and he was holding my hand and running wild. At the end we sat on a roaring locomotive as the scenery flew by and the cheers and shouts were hidden in the wind. Liam Sullivan asked me loudly, Eucalyptus, What's your dream? Movie queen. I want to be a 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 movie queen. Liam Sullivan stopped the car, took off my helmet and kissed me. I believe you can do it. But now, Liam Sullivan had destroyed my dream. On the day of the awards, the news that I'd been crowned queen of the movie went viral on Twitter. Fans filled the plaza with pictures of my performance. I brought expensive jewelry and wore a backless evening gown, and the cold autumn evening wind whistled into it. Today, I had waited a really long time. Countless flashes were shot at my face, and the artists in front and behind me began to congratulate me in advance. I looked at the back of my head sitting in the first row, Liam Sullivan, and clenched my palms slightly. Everyone expected the trophy to fall into my hands this time. I pulled on my best smile as the Golden Globe Awards winner was read, tears of excitement welling up in my eyes, just as I lifted my skirt and prepared to stand up. The spotlight hit Lila Collins. Let's give a round of applause, Lila Collins. The room was silent for a second before bursting into applause. The smile that had frozen on my face was photographed and posted online. Lila Collins wiped the corners of her eyes with excitement as she held the golden trophy. I didn't think I could get this award. Obviously there were so many other seniors in the room who were better and harder working than me, especially Sister Aria Yates. In fact, in my mind, you're more suitable for this award than I. I'm sure you'll be standing in my place next year. Unabashed malice. Nervous as hell speeches. Our fans on the plaza are already tearing each other apart. Ha 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 ha, laugh out loud. Where have those minions of Aria Yates gone? Didn't they just keep bragging about your master being the queen of the movie this time? Why didn't she go up to receive the award? Is it because she didn't like it? You didn't see Aria Yates' face. She looked like she was about to cry. It was so cool. Who let her be so arrogant before? Now she's getting a slap in the face, right? This award belongs to Yun Yun. Yin Yin deserves it. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to get a good deal on this, but I'm sure you're going to be able to get a good deal on this. And I'm sure you're going to be able to get a good deal on this. I'm sure they're getting close. My CP is real. I don't know what to say, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it. How did this award come to her body? Clearly Ha. If Jingwei reclaimed the sea when he found this trophy, there is no need to transport the stone. The water has no edge. Those who knock Lila Collins and Liam Sullivan CP in real life is not like to be 3A. The little houser born out of the little 3. Liam Sullivan retweeted the video posted by the marketing number of My Expectations Fell Through, with the text, although it hurts my wife's heart, this award is indeed well deserved by Mr. Lin. Even to this extent, Liam Sullivan still does not forget to create his so-called wife-loving persona. Because of this incident, Weibo almost exploded. The top 10 hot searches are all about me, and almost every article is followed by an explosion. I took a deep breath. My chance. Here it comes. I retweeted Liam Sullivan's tweet with the caption, 7 years of relationship. I ended up losing the bet. I attached the photos of Liam Sullivan and Lila Collins taken at the hotel, and the video of the scene where Lila Collins slapped me repeatedly by taking advantage of the filming, and Liam Sullivan in front of my house, calling to say the words. Aria Yates Award for Lila Collins. What is he pretending? Think I don't have surveillance in my house? I was trying to get a peaceful divorce without tearing my face off. But I didn't expect to be so humiliated by this scummy pair of bitches that even the honor that belongs to me was forcibly taken away from me. Doesn't Lila Collins like to rob things? Now there's no need for you to grab it. The rotten man and the award are all yours. As for Liam Sullivan and I are about to go through a divorce. No forgiveness, no compromise, no turning back. As soon as this tweet was posted, Netizens blew up again and flooded Lila Collins and Liam Sullivan's comment section with insults. Even the Golden Globe Awards jury was flushed, calling them watered down. Liam Sullivan's wife-loving persona quickly collapsed, and photos of him and Lila Collins as a duo at a cocktail party were revealed, along with footage from the very first intimate scenes between the two. I said, how did it play out so well? It turned out to be the real deal, cheating on the big screen. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to get a good look at this. I can't imagine how disgusting it is. Liam Sullivan doesn't have a contagious disease, does he? May I ask who dares to sniff their mouths? Chin's Group's stock was also innocently affected. The product live broadcasting room was also reported, and there were even angry netizens who went to buy their family's products before refunding them. The pennies are not spent. The main torture. My heat was unprecedented, and someone from the jury contacted me, saying that they had misread the list of winners and were willing to make up the trophy to me. I ignored it, and Olivia Joe was on the sidelines with a little number to give both of them credit for their black reviews. Finally. It's cool. He was the one who cheated on me in the marriage, so why should I get a peaceful divorce? I should have messed with him, tore his disguise. Who let him all day on the internet to pretend to be deep love? Does he really think he's Hollywood royalty? I looked at the square. There were still quite a few people scolding me, saying that I made things too ugly and didn't look at myself for the reason. It didn't matter to me. I took any comment at face value. After all, soon, the costume dramas starring me would be aired. All of this was my traffic. And the reason I chose to tear myself apart today. That night, Olivia Joe and I went to one of the most expensive properties in my name. We sat in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows, poured 2 glasses of wine, and overlooked the river at night. The location, the best part of the city center. In fact, I never thought before that I would reach this height now. When I was 8 years old, my parents took me to the mountains and said they would take me fruit picking. But they disappeared after I climbed down from the tree. Then I was adopted by a grandmother in the village. After raising me for less than 3 years, she too passed away. In the end, I grew up eating 100 meals, a bite here today, a bite there tomorrow. The village chief told me that my parents hadn't abandoned me. They had just lost me and would come back for me later. I thought to myself, how on earth can my parents find me? It was only after I entered high school and went to the city that I saw posters of celebrities plastered all over the streets. They were so glamorous that people couldn't take their eyes off them. I wondered if my parents would only find me if I became a star and appeared on every corner. But when I grew up, I realized they wouldn't find me at all. Because I was just abandoned. Now, I'm climbing higher and higher, not for them, but for myself. Olivia Joe is drunk and suddenly begins to lament love. When I was young, I also met a man. And I was with him for 3 years before I realized that he had a wife. And that time I was really taught a lesson that cost me half my life. I was taught a lesson and it cost me half my life. I thought you and Liam Sullivan were so in love that you would go all the way to the end. But I didn't expect it to end the same way. Eucalyptus. Will you be sad to see you go? After all you've given so much over the years. I smiled and raised my glass. Don't let past investments cloud your judgment. Fuck love. Hey, race to business. Hey, race to you. My phone is ringing off the hook with Liam Sullivan. He can't reach me if I don't answer. It's such a big deal. It's affecting the business. To deal with the mess, Liam Sullivan's mom and dad flew back from abroad. Liam Sullivan was beaten up by his dad and stayed in the hospital for a few days. When he woke up, he started calling me again, saying he wanted to see me. I found him with the divorce papers. He wasn't in the best of shape and sat down next to me, looking at me wearily with a prayer in his voice. You've really got me wrong, wife. I've only been with Lila Collins once. That time you filed for divorce from me and I was so angry and drunk that I did something stupid. Other than that, I've had nothing with her. I've been messing with you for a while because someone told me that you were only with me for my money. You didn't love me at all. I believed it. So I wanted to use her to piss you off. You believe me. I never liked Lila Collins. I just think she is very much like you in those 3 years. So I always feel heartbroken and want to help her. Just like I helped you back then. Back then, I had no resources and no background. I was bullied and suppressed. So when he saw Lila Collins, who looked like me and had the same experience, Liam Sullivan was moved. He became her background, gave her the best resources, and let her rise all the way up. But obviously I was stumbling and experiencing a lot of frustration to get to this position. So why say she is like me? I didn't say anything. Liam Sullivan's voice was a little choked. It's my fault. I'm sorry. I tugged at the corner of my mouth. Look, you say you love me the most, but then and now, you're sorry. Liam Sullivan, I want to be right all the time. If I hadn't had the strength to fight back, it might have gone away. I'd still be Liam Sullivan's wife, and Lila Collins would be his lover. Maybe it wasn't me he really wanted to let go of. But the 3 years had spent with me in the rented room. 2 months passed in a flash. My TV series exploded as soon as it was broadcast. My CP with the male lead made it to the top of the CP list. As for Lila Collins, after that incident, she was banned from the internet. I heard that in order to make a comeback, she secretly approached her former employer and tried to sleep with him, but the employer had security guards throw her out. And Liam Sullivan seems to be in bad shape. In order to avoid him and to relax, I took my team abroad for a month. Liam Sullivan couldn't find me, so he stayed home and drank. I heard that he was even hospitalized because of a perforated stomach. On the day I returned home, Lou's mother found me. To be honest, I don't remember much about my mother-in-law. I only remember that on the wedding day, she put the heirloom bracelet on my hand, but in reality, she didn't like me very much. Because before I came along, Liam Sullivan had always had a door-to-door coupling. I took the bracelet off and put it on the table and pushed it in front of her. Lou's mother didn't take it. She took a sip of coffee and said slowly, "You know what? Back then, although Jihan and I, his father, recognized him to enter the entertainment industry, we did not recognize you. I admit that it's not easy for you to accompany him to suffer for 3 years, but Jihan grew up with a golden spoon in his mouth. So you don't deserve him. You don't deserve him. But in order to marry you, he was willing to give up the inheritance of the Shin Group, and he was also beaten by his father and knelt all night in the rain. Liam Sullivan's knee has an old injury that hurts when it rains. I used to worry so much and ask him what was wrong. He just wouldn't tell me. Instead, he kissed me while talking poorly. It hurts a few times, but it's worth it to get my wife's concern. I know that Lou's mother is not lamenting our relationship. She is just heartbroken about her own son. But what does this have to do with me? Is it possible that when he gives his heart, I'm all fake? What's the point of telling me this? Will it change the fact that he cheated on me? What's the point of telling me this? It's impossible for me and him to go back to the old days. If he continues to make trouble, it will only kill the last bit of affection between me and him. And I would rather go abroad and settle down than to see him. The atmosphere was strangely silent for a few seconds. Lou's mother suddenly snorted out coldly and flipped open the cell phone that was fastened on the table. You heard everything. There was a muffled grunt on the other end of the line. It was Liam Sullivan, who had been listening to us. People don't even want to see you, so don't be so worthless and rush your hot face to stick your cold ass. Divorce me and follow me and your father abroad. Lou's mother huffed and puffed. I touched the wall of my cup. The coffee was already cold. I didn't know that Liam Sullivan would give up everything to be with me, but he didn't know either. Because of his arrogant nature, he refused to beg and offended his investors. So in order to help him get the role for which he won the Best Newcomer award, I begged the investor for a long time and drank several bottles of strong white wine. On the way back, I threw up while shedding tears. I had a miscarriage. The high-intensity work made me ignore the abnormality of my body. I finished the DC procedure at the hospital and went home again as if nothing had happened. So to this day, Liam Sullivan doesn't even know that I was pregnant with his child. After that day, Liam Sullivan finally agreed to divorce. He gave me lots and lots of money. I didn't refuse. I deserved it. Liam Sullivan couldn't make it in China anymore, so he left his company to his father's trusted advisor, while he was taken out of the country by his parents, saying that he wanted to develop his business there. Before he left, Liam Sullivan told me he would wait for me. I won't change my cell phone number, and if you forgive me, I'll come back to you anytime. I counted the rows of zeros on my bank card and ignored him. Liam Sullivan smiled to himself and lowered his eyes, tears glistening in the bottom of his eyes. Eucalyptus. Can you see me off at the airport tomorrow? Of course I won't see him off. I don't want to waste my time. Liam Sullivan still left. His back looked very lonely. In the rearview mirror, Liam Sullivan's silhouette was getting longer and longer. I passed a jewelry store, stopped and went inside. I bought myself the most expensive and beautiful set of jewelry. I was actually quite impressed with the store. In the winter of my first year with Liam Sullivan, we came off the set and walked down the street late at night. I was shivering, and he held me in his arms. I passed this jewelry store, and the glittering rings on the display caught my eye. I loved it. I had never seen such a brilliant diamond, brighter than the stars in the sky. Sensing my gaze, Liam Sullivan lights a cigarette and exhales a smoke ring like a plain ring. He gazed at me with his eyes lowered, and the endless smile in his eyes spread out, sparkling with stars under the bright moonlight. Eucalyptus, marry me. I used my ring finger to pass through the smoke ring, and cursed with a smile, get lost. This is too insincere. He took me in his arms and said he would put the biggest and most beautiful diamond ring in town on my hand. After the wedding, he did, but no matter how many rings he got, none of them were as beautiful as the one I saw at the time. When I came out of the jewelry store, I couldn't help but laugh. There was one secret I hadn't told Liam Sullivan. He's right. I've been with him all this time because he's rich and famous. I'm too sane to be in some kind of Rentrum literature romance when I can't even get by on my own. Damp house. Every breath can smell the moldy smell. The air mixed with the stench of public toilets. Squeaking iron bed also collapsed twice. I have long been tired of this kind of life. This may be a novel experience for the young Masterson, who has grown up in a golden age, but for me, it is a new experience. But for me, it's a bad life that I'm desperate to get out of. In the beginning, I was in love with him with all my heart, but that love has long since been defeated by reality. Fuck love. It's not food. But the night I was about to break up with him, I heard Liam Sullivan on the phone with his mom. I know, Mom. Give me 2 more years. If I still can't make it, they'll come back and take over the company. Okay. I was about to press the doorknob when I stopped. I thought, this could be a big gamble. But luckily, I was right.